Four Midwest Guys presents Mandalorian Review.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Four Midwest Guys presents the Mandalorian Review. And we are four people strong. So the number four means something this week. What can I say? She was with us last season. She's back this season. It's John's lovely wife, Stephanie.
Hi, everybody.
Johnny Z with us.
Hello again, everyone.
And today, down in the corner, down here, is Mr. Brian Eckenbauer via Skype.
How's it going, guys?
Our honorary Force Ghost is with us today.
Yeah.
A little less blue this time. Looking a little less blue.
A little less blue, yeah. Looking
tongue-tied
more
there.
human. You got some rest today.
Yeah, I got a little bit of rest.
There you go. There you go. Well, guys, this was a very fun episode. I thought I enjoyed this episode tremendously, especially if you are a Star Wars Clone Wars fan or a Star Wars Rebels fan. There's a lot of payoff in this.
Yeah, there was
in this episode, and even if you didn't, I would think you would like it. Johnny, Steph, what's your quick?
Well, as a couple
overall
people
take.
who have not watched Rebels or Clone
Right,
Wars,
exactly.
it was definitely a step up from last week, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I thought so.
It was really cool to see some of the stuff that you and Aikenbauer had been talking about last year.
Yeah, finally you start to see it come.
More world building, you know. That's for outsiders like us. It's more world building.
Exactly. So, speaking of worlds, we start off the episode and we pick up right where we left off, and pretty much we called it. You know, limping. We used I think the last thing we talked about in last week's episode was limping into Chapter 11, and sure enough, here we are.
Not bankruptcy.
Not bankruptcy. Limping right over into the moon of Trask. We get that opening shot, and sure enough, the crest is still very badly damaged, looking like an old clunker going down the street with its tailgate bouncing along unceremoniously.
I've seen some of those cars out here.
Yeah, Midwest region, yes.
There you go. Yeah. There's definitely a few in the good old state of Kentucky. And then we also see a very risky landing, which I think we called that going in last week as well. We're like, man, I bet you this translates into a little bit of some action.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the first time we've actually seen like re-entry physics, like real world physics apply into
In
this?
Star Wars, yeah, I would say so. I think that's the first time we've seen.
we haven't typically seen them in any kind of Star Wars.
Yeah,
Like it's not like it didn't even matter which way they came in, what angle or anything.
Wasn't there something in Revenge of the Sith though? Like in the
you're right. The ship,
ship when it was
the droid ship.
Yeah.
When it burned up a little bit.
But
in the
no,
re-entry.
it's nice to see like little physics moments like that actually applying into a fantasy.
Well, it makes it feel more real.
It does, and
some
it's kind of
facts
cool.
in the fantasy world, the
Yeah.
Star Wars fantasy world. Yeah, but I think this is the first time we got some real drama with. I mean, we did in Revenge of the Sith too, but I mean, you could see this little. We already know the ship's in serious trouble, and then you start. It's reminding me more and more of, and I put this in the notes later, but it's reminding me more and more of Firefly with just shit just.
Oh, that
falling,
was the first thing I
falling
said.
off
Steph.
that ship,
Like the second that ship just starts limping past
Yeah.
the moon, I was like, and there goes the Firefly.
Yeah, I mean, just pieces
Serenity.
coming off.
It was a cool little nod. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's morphing its way. It's shrinking down to the Firefly ship. I forget the name of the. Is it Firefly?
It's the Serenity, right?
Serenity.
Yeah.
that's it,
Serenity.
Yeah. So it's just
It's something about like the sci-fi universes, like since Star Wars, like they've made junker ships, and like
Yes.
you could feel the junker status of them.
Oh, definitely.
Because before the 77 Star Wars, every sci-fi vehicle, every location, and like the future or off-worlds, they were pristine looking. Like they were all clean and
and
perfect.
nice, yeah.
Star Wars is the first time they actually dirtied it up, and they're continuing that trend
That
with the design.
used universe look, as
Yes,
they like to
the
call it.
used look.
Yeah,
Yeah, one of my favorite parts of this was the landing, and he gets all the way down to the
Yeah.
Yes.
very end, and he's like a foot from the ground, and then all of a sudden the engine cuts on one side, and he goes
right in the water. Boop.
right in the water.
That was
I
like,
laughed so
that was
hard.
great comedy because you're like, oh, they made it. Yep. Nope.
That was
No,
comedy.
No, they didn't.
Yes,
that was
That was
comedy.
comedy. It was good. It was good stuff. So, but hopefully Mando can. This would be a good time because I was thinking about this today. I was like, what if they came up with like a monster garage in Star Wars? Like he runs into a couple guys that like, oh my god, it's a Razor Crest. We can do so much. We can take this and put pinstripes on it. And,
my
You know what?
my God.
I would love it if there was like a John Leguizamo from John Wick shop.
Pimp my ride.
yeah, somebody they're like out there and they're like, I'll
Oh
take
my
care
God.
of this.
Where the hell did you get this ship? You get the fuck out of here with that ship.
What is it? Orange County Motors or something?
Yeah,
right?
it'd be like awesome. Be like, hey, I'm gonna tweak this thing out. We're gonna see. You'll see.
Hit my Baby Yoda.
And that would be kind of cool in
my
Star
gosh.
Wars, you know, if they had something like just a garage or something.
Yeah. Speaking of Pimp My Ride, how about that the Imperial crane?
Yes, yes. How about that? Wasn't
was awesome.
That was very
That-
cool.
That
They,
was
they used
another
the
new
Walker
piece of
sound
equipment.
effects. It was
Yeah, another
They had
new
the sound
piece of
effects.
equipment.
They had like the body of
I was
the walker.
excited.
Yeah, and it was like they used it as a crane. I was like,
Crane.
that's awesome.
Awesome, yes.
Because you can tell by like the design of that world, like with the oceans as deep as they are, it's like you're gonna need something that's got mobility. So yeah, why not have
Repurpose
that?
a walker.
Repurpose a
Yeah,
walker.
sure.
Perfect.
Put a crane on it. Why not?
Yeah, hopefully the surface is not too unstable.
Bumpy or something, yeah.
You know.
And then, of course, he runs into the the mechanic who's watching him the whole way and watches the whole thing. He's just like, I can't fix it, but I can make it fly.
The one thing I was thinking
yeah.
the whole time was like he was evaluating whether or not it was a trap.
Yeah.
He just had a look. He was just.
I was waiting for them to
It's a
try
trap.
to put the line in there somewhere.
Yeah, I was too, actually.
He was like
Didn't it come later?
he was like
No.
he was
No.
like do what you can do. I have 1,000 credits, and he goes, well, I guess I can fill her up.
Yeah. If it'll hold fuel.
That's what he said. I
Yeah,
missed
if
what he
it was-
said.
If it'll even hold fuel. It was good.
And then, of course, we get the little the frog people reunite.
It's a nice little moment.
the frog man, and the
The
frog lady.
lady frog and the man frog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man frog, lady frog.
Husband and wife. There you go. Husband and wife.
So, and then of course, then we get that great shot of Sasha Banks, who's playing Brian. You found it. Casca Reeves is her actual name in the
Yeah.
show.
Uh-huh.
What is Sasha? Does anybody know Sasha's real name? Because I don't know. I just know her as Sasha Banks in
crap.
WWE.
Yeah, I gotta look that up.
I should have looked it up.
I should have too,
I'm
'cause-
throwing it out there.
Yeah.
So okay, nobody knows. We'll just call it Sasha Banks.
Yes.
that's what she's
Point it out to
going
us. What's that?
That's what she's actually going by. On the IMDb, it actually says Sasha Banks.
Oh really?
Yeah, I'm so used to
she's
seeing-
like The Rock, keeping them on.
Until she gets like worldwide recognition. So it's like, yeah, no, it's Dwayne Johnson now.
Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
Dwayne The Rock
Just
Johnson.
call me
Dwayne The
Sasha.
Rock, yeah.
No, it'll just Sasha.
Just
Okay.
Sasha.
You know, it's just her credit's just simply gonna read boss time.
Yeah. And seeing that shot again though, it looks, and it's right out of the trailers, but she really does look like a dark Jedi or a mysterious Jedi in that cloak. man.
I'm so used to seeing her persona in WWE. I'm
Yeah.
used to the reds and blues and everything
Right.
that she wears. Like, it took me a while to recognize. Like, oh, that's her. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's
I guess she's starting her TV debut.
yeah, I guess this is it. This is where she starts, and we have yet to see a female wrestler really, make the crossover in Hollywood.
We've seen
so.
the MMA, but that's yeah.
Yeah, but she really,
Ooh.
yeah. What'd you get? Got a little tidbit.
Yeah. So, do you remember when last week I said it had Sasha Banks listed, and it said she was in 7 episodes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it didn't have a name.
yeah.
So now it says Sasha Banks, Casca Reeves, 3 episodes.
Ooh,
Ah.
so she's only in 3. Interesting.
So do we think she's only in 3, or do we think they don't want to keep spoiling
Never
it?
trust
Say-
it. Just wait till the season finale.
I wouldn't,
Yeah.
I just wait week to week, see what happens.
I
That's
wouldn't,
it.
I wouldn't trust it, but you know what? After seeing this last episode, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him till later in the season now, because he's going off. At the end of this, he goes off again. So, which we'll get to. We'll talk about all that. But yeah. All right, so let's move on to the Mon Calamari Inn/Cafe. You gotta love some clam chowder with a live dose of squid in it that comes out of a hose.
Dude, I saw that and I was like, John, something's moving in that soup. I was like, John, something's moving in that soup.
And I'm so used to not just Star Wars, but sci-fi universes. I'm like, sure.
Yeah, are they overdoing the alien thing though? Because he did
kinda
the
can.
alien thing on him. He's like,
Oh no,
You kinda can overdo it.
To be fair, I mean, he kind of, after eating all those eggs in the last episode, it made him an asshole. You know, he kind of got his. You know,
no.
It would have been great if like the squid jumps out of the bowl and goes, "Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling."
The universe is all complete now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Although we do find out that Baby Yoda does not know how to eat squid yet, so
Yet.
he's
Yep.
kind of learning with that.
Now the other thing I thought was kind of odd, like because the whole point of him taking Lady Frog to this place was because Man Frog knew of the Mandalorians,
right.
but he didn't. He just dropped them off in a cafe and said,
Right.
"Here you go."
Yeah, talk to these guys.
I know. I was like, "Wait a minute."
I mean, I kind of, it didn't bother me because of the deal Pelly was making with him the whole time. It was constantly changing. It was like, well, you can do this, but there's this.
I mean, if technically he pointed him to where he needed to go to ask him.
Yeah,
so...
it was like he gives him about the bare minimum of the deal.
Yeah, it was definitely bare minimum.
Yeah, absolutely. So
hardly worth losing like my ship for.
And did anybody else, as soon as he made the deal with the Quarren or the Quarren, the squid face, did anybody else just automatically feel like, yeah, this is going to be a trap?
Yeah.
The second I did, I was like,
yeah.
this is.
It was just having the other. What's the other race that the guy that watched him plunge into the water?
The Mon Calamari. Yeah.
Well, there's the Mon Calamari that's got like the squid face, but then there's like the fish eye face, the
That's
Akbar.
the Mon Calamari.
That's the Mon Calamari. Okay.
The Quarren
Yeah.
are the
Okay.
the squid
Or the
faces.
squid face, okay.
Yeah.
The
I'm
corn are
mixing-
the ones that
That's okay.
like the pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Thank you.
Yeah, see, I'm,
Yeah,
I'm,
they did a
I'm mixing
lot
up my
of that.
calamari because calamari is really squid in it.
You definitely,
Yeah.
you definitely saw like the Davy Jones thing because their individual tentacles were moving
right.
and stuff. It was cool. I
No,
was
it's
like,
neat
yeah.
because when we first saw them back in the 80s, like they were
Yeah,
just
straight
straight
down.
down, and it was like prosthetics
Just a rubber
that they
mask.
couldn't animate. It was just it was just a rubber mask.
Yeah.
Now they're fully animated. It was kind of neat to watch that progression and effects.
Yeah,
But no, with the Mon Calamari, I knew that somewhere in this episode it was going to be a trap.
yeah, it's a trap.
It was going to be a trap.
Not just one trap, but two traps. But
And I also thought that was kind of neat that they were actually on a boat that was
the
like
fir-
yes.
kind of in the water. I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool."
Yeah.
It felt like Deadliest Catch Star Wars style. That's what I was thinking. I was
Yes.
like, ooh, okay, here we go.
Have you ever seen this get fed? I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah,
Yeah,
as soon
he
as
was
said
real-
that, I'm like, no,
He was
don't do it.
really
like,
into
no,
like
don't
watching
do
this thing get
that.
Yeah, and I
fed.
was like, then like the way he used that hook, like spear thing. I was like, did he play hockey? Like, 'cause I was at that slap shot, man. It was like,
Yeah.
went right in the middle.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
I was like, what
Yeah.
hockey player signed up to be him?
And
today?
I actually had to stop and rewind it because I'm like, shit, did he close the crib on it or not? Because if he didn't, he's eating. And
Yeah.
sure enough,
Yeah,
he
no,
closed
he
it in
did.
time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
That was the Twitter penance from last week.
yeah, fucking
Eat an
cancel
egg, be an
culture
asshole,
bastards.
get eaten the next episode.
There you go.
Yeah, cancer culture fuckers. And I cuss every time I say it. Anyway,
to be fair, we all had issues with that.
well,
last
we
week,
did,
but
there's no need to cancel the guy. Come on.
that's
It's overreacting. But it turns out that the Quarren were actually after his Beskar armor. So
Yeah.
again, the Beskar armor, we've seen
Comes
it in the
into
past.
play
Here it is
again.
again.
It's like walking around with gold on you. It's like
Essentially, yeah, right.
if you walk, it's like if you walk into the hood wearing gold armor, you're gonna get people trying to take you out.
That's silver.
Gonna get
I got
bugged.
silver, and platinum, and gold. On,
Wow,
baby.
$100,000 of money. I've never seen 100,000. Hey, where'd it go? Hey, that's mine.
Which is funny because
Walk
he
through
drives
the hood, see what
around
happens.
he drives around the Raven Crest with a piece of crap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He comes out in this big shiny
Comes
Beskar
out, yeah.
armor. Yeah.
You know, if
He's
you
like,
want-
hi, I'm from Covington.
Maybe we do need to pimp his ride.
You know what? Maybe we don't, because if he keeps driving around in the ship the way it is, no one's gonna try to mug him for his armor.
Oh. Dude. So jumping really, really far ahead all the way to the very end
Yes.
when he jumps into hyperspeed.
Yeah.
Did you guys see? Like, looks like he leaves
Yes.
like his license
Yes,
plate
yeah.
spinning.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was laughing so hard. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Spoilers. But getting back to it, so luckily we see the new Mandos show up. The House of Kreese Mandos come to the rescue and make short work of the Quarren and save Baby Yoda, and everything's cool. Mando's fine with it until
Yeah,
Yep,
they
the
took
second-
dude,
off
they
comes the
got
helmet.
there. I was like, hey, and then they took their helmets off. I went, oh,
Oh.
no, they're not Mandalorian.
Oh no, they are Mandalorian.
They are Mandalorian.
They are,
they?
but it's like they're not.
They're actually more
quite.
Mandalorian than the Mandalorian is.
So
Wow.
it turns out that Mando is part of a zealous sect of Mandos called the Watch, and I'll talk about that when I go on my rant here in a minute.
I got to get my Robin Williams joke in there when you remind me.
But apparently they're a zealous sect of Mandos that broke away to restore the ancient way of the Mandos. So I guess when ancient Mandalorians never took their helmets off, I guess.
Essentially, it was American Catholic just met Roman Catholic.
Oh,
it's
jeez.
it's religious versus fundamentalism.
Or as I put in the notes, Amish Mandos, except way cooler because they're a warrior culture. They don't sit there,
Okay, I can get the Robin Williams line, and it's like,
Okay, go ahead.
It's like, and day one when God said, "Let there be light," could that be a metaphor for the Big Bang? Fundamentalists go, no, God just went click.
So we've got some they're very hardcore. They apparently are, unlike the modern Mandos who believe that they can, take their helmets off. I guess when back in the day, Mandalorians never took their helmet off. So that's part of the
interesting.
way. This is the way.
I want to know more about the way now.
I do too. I would like to know what the difference is between the modern.
I would like to see a Mandalorian out there nailing like 94 theses to the
95.
95 to the blast door.
Lutheranism. There you go. We just made the warrior class of Mandos Lutheran. God help us.
But we're also
Well, we got, and also with you last week.
we did the Catholic may the force be with you and also with you is now canon.
It's getting some really neat religious undertones.
We finally got canon. So I'm very happy about it.
Canada? What? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
it's canon.
explain canon to you.
Yeah, canon.
I know what canon is.
Okay.
I'm just having fun.
It's like,
okay.
they're the things that go boom.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's that 1812 overture ending.
Speaking of things that go boom, let's talk about Bo-Katan. So he meets Bo-Katan, and who is Bo-Katan? If you know Rebels, if you know Clone Wars, then you know Bo-Katan is a leader of the House of Kreese, the Kreese Mandalorians. And I'm about to go on my big Star Wars wall.
Hunker down, everyone.
Hunker down, everybody, because here we go.
Do you have images?
I didn't have time.
Okay, so right below John, in the center of the screen is Bo-Katan, right there above the word "the" in the Heiress.
Which one are you looking at? I don't have Bo-Katan, actually.
Oh no, he's talking about
on the
Oh,
screen.
you mean the screen?
In the
Oh,
graphic.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, the one below the pig there. That's her.
Yes.
So that's the live version her, which is
Not the pig.
Kate. Help
So
me out.
Sackhoff?
Yep.
Sackhoff.
Sackhoff, and she actually also voiced Bo-Katan in both Clone Wars and Rebels. So it's a nice flow.
And also, God, what's her name? Starbuck from Battlestar Galactica.
Yes, that's what she's most known for.
Yes.
But she also did the voice for Bo-Katan in Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels.
Very
Who is Bo-Katan? Well, here's a very brief recap, and I'll go through it as quick as I can. They're trying helping us out.
Thanks, Hank.
The first time this is the first time we see her in live action. She first showed up in the Clone Wars as was second in command of the terrorist group Death Watch, not to be confused with what we just heard, the Watch, but Death Watch, which was similar to nice John, which was similar to the Watch. They wanted to go back to the old ways. At the time, the Mandalorians were trying to become pacifists, and they wanted them to stick to their warrior ways. So it makes me wonder.
See that?
Yeah, there's the I believe that is the Clone Wars version.
That's the animated
Clone Wars version of Bo-Katan. So that's from the last Clone Wars, actually.
Cool.
I can tell. But anyway, so she was second in command of this Death Watch, and just to give you even more history, Death Watch's leader at the time, Pre Vizsla was his name, and he once held the Dark Saber, which we know is in the series. He died and lost the saber to Darth Maul in a fight to the death for the leadership of Death Watch and Mandalore at the time, which there's another good shot of her in the Clone Wars. That's her from Clone Wars. That's Bo-Katan, and you can see she worked with Ahsoka Tano at time. From time to time throughout the Clone Wars, they worked together, or were at each other's throats actually. But anyway, after the Mandalore, Bo-Katan turned on Maul because he wasn't a Mandalorian and killed her friend and her leader. So later on, it turns out that she was the sister of Duchess Satine. Who's Duchess Satine? Well, she was the pacifist leader of Mandalore during the Clone Wars. She's also a love interest of Obi-Wan Kenobi when they were in their youth. She was killed by Darth Maul as captured Obi-Wan watched as part of Maul's revenge against Obi-Wan for cutting him in half. Brian just keeps throwing more and more stuff. That's actually from Rebels. That's the Rebels. Nice job, Brian. So that's Bo-Katan and Rebels. In the Siege of Mandalore, Bo-Katan, who was hunting Maul at the time, and Ahsoka Tano teamed up and convinced Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker to split up the 501st Clone Battalion to go to Mandalore, where they knew Maul was hiding, in order to catch him once and for all. Ahsoka and Captain/Commander Rex were successful in capturing him, and Bo-Katan was made Regent of Mandalore by the Jedi Council. So Bo-Katan, that was her first rule. She was actually the leader of all of Mandalore for a short period of time. Unfortunately, Maul was let go by Ahsoka in the events of Revenge of the Sith, which were running parallel, timeline-wise, to the Siege of Mandalore. So Order 66 ended up happening, and she had to release Maul as a diversion in order to get away from the clone army that was trying to kill her. We also see, during the rise of the Empire, Bo-Katan was removed by power by the Emperor because she wouldn't submit to his authority. That's what that should say. Star Wars Rebels, then we go to Star Wars Rebels, which is shortly before the time of A New Hope. Jedi, she teams up with Jedi Ezra Bridger, Kanan Jarrus, and the Mandalorian Sabine Wren, who at this point had the Darksaber in her hands, and she gave it to Bo-Katan to unite the Mandalorian clans. And by giving her that Darksaber, basically they started a resistance against the Empire. Now we go from there to the Purge of Mandalore, which we hear about in this series. So we only know that somehow Moff Gideon got the Darksaber from Bo-Katan. We don't know how. We don't know what happened. And the Empire was apparently successful in crushing Bo-Katan's resistance from everything we've heard so far, even using old Clone War separatist battle droids at the time to do it, which is why Mando hates droids, because he was a kid. As we saw in the flashbacks of season 1. Also, I believe it's a member of the Kreese clan, because it seemed to me it was the same armor and the same logo is the one that rescued Din Djarin as a child. So there's a connection there. Mando. So that's just kind of a real brief, just how much history and how much backstory there is with this character. Wow. And I'm only going over this real quickly because
that's a real brief too.
It's very brief overview.
That's quite impressive how condensed you made that.
Yes, and it's a brief overview, and I also didn't want to make it a real spoiler alert because I want people to actually go back. If you haven't watched Clone Wars, and you haven't watched Rebels, I say it all the time. Some of the best storytelling's in there. There's a lot of filler too, but there's some really good stuff, and it definitely pays off in this series. So it's worth your time to go back and watch. Anyway, so that's who Bo-Katan is. And then we see the Mando, and then Mando got real upset when he saw that they took off their helmets and found out that there's different Mandalorians out there. Would you guys think about that?
Yeah, we both said it. The second they took off the helmets, it was just like the season premiere of this one when the guy took off his Boba Fett helmet. We're like, oh, it's our indicator that that's not a Mandalorian
or something else is up. Yeah.
But it was interesting because the guy that was with her was like, oh no, she's more Mandalorian than you could ever be.
Yeah.
So
which I was like, oh, really?
Dropping down the universe building gauntlet there.
Yeah. Boom. Bombshell dropped on him. What do you think, Brian, of that moment? Where he just couldn't come to terms with it.
Yeah,
seemed
it was hard for him to understand because for him, the whole this is the way, and he was brought up that way, and those are the only kind of Mandalorians he knew of. To find out that there are other Mandalorians out there with different belief systems than him that are actually true Mandalorians. It just for the like this episode, you can see he kind of gets over it eventually.
Yeah.
But like right there at the very beginning, he goes, who'd you get your armor from?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he was ready to take it. He's
Yeah.
like, you
Just
don't
like it
belong.
was in
Yeah.
the
Like Boba Fett's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Boba Fett.
Yeah. So it's definitely shaking him to the core so much that he has to fly away from it. He's like, I'm out of here. In fact, I think he even says the Mandalorian. There is only the Mandalorian way. There is no other way. I think he says even something like that because he's
There's the way of Mandalore, and there's no other.
no other. Yeah. So he's sticking to his. I guess we could call it orthodox beliefs. I guess
Yeah.
kind of
Fundamentalist,
fundamentalist
yeah.
view of it. I'm not sure if orthodox applies or not. I have to think about that. But anyway, he flies from one trap to another. So we go from it's a trap to it's another trap. So
gotta get away from this Mon Calamari planet. There's nothing but traps everywhere.
the
No wonder they're so like keen in detecting them.
yeah so the Quarrens return. Apparently my notes decided to make that Queen's return, but it's actually the Quarrens. The Quarrens return, the one that set him up in the first place from the inn, along with a lot of his other friends, decide to ambush him because they killed his brother, and he's pissed about it, even though he was trying to kill him. And who comes to the rescue? But yet again, Bo-Katan and the other two Mandos come
Another
to his
trap,
rescue.
another Mandalorian rescue.
And I think by this point, because he sees them blow up the ship that he was on, the little ship he was on, and then he rescues them again, I think they almost earn his respect here, maybe just a little bit. Like he's okay. He's coming to terms with the fact that there's other Mandalorians and that they are trying to help him, not trying to go against him or.
But we're missing the most important thing is the cradle egg got severely damaged when they went to rescue him out of the pond.
I don't think that.
Yeah, it's true. There's no more cradle.
Yeah, I don't.
Again.
For me, I don't think that Mando or
we just call him
that there wasn't any earning of respect or anything. I think it was just that they helped me, cool. I don't think he ever respected them. In that, what's the word I'm looking for?
He doesn't see him on their level.
He still looks down on them, you think, because they're not true Mandalorians in his view.
I think maybe he doesn't look down on them. It's just that, okay, you helped me, thanks, see you later.
Right.
The only reason he stuck with them is because she said, I could help you find a Jedi. Or I can point you in the right direction or something. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason he wanted to know what she could tell him.
That could be. I mean, that doesn't happen until the next scene, but I okay, I'll go with that. Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
right.
I'm on the same boat as the as not so much as gaining the respect, more as just understanding that there are others out there,
and that's okay
with different opinions. Yeah, because like this whole season 1 and like up to he's transforming his mindset of what actually is reality. You know what I mean? Like because when he was growing up, part of the other Mandalores, like everything, this is the way, this is what it is, and then to have that come crashing down and realize there are other things out there that actually kind of hold a little more weight than others. I think that's what we're building.
I tell you what, if that's the the overall arc of this season, I'm completely sold. Like that is one hell of a narrative arc.
But I think it's going to be one of many. But yeah, I think you could. I think season 3, after watching this episode, I think you're going to see him maybe join forces with Bo-Katan. You may see him fight in a war to regain Mandalore. I don't know. I mean, I think that's possible too. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited after this episode. That's for sure.
I'll say this. Like, I'm looking at your notes there. Like, so they go to a bar to start talking about all this.
Yeah.
I had this image where she says, "Can I buy you a drink?" Mm-hmm. I want to see the Mandalorian with a sippy cup or like
or
a
a
giant
straw.
straw go right under the helmet.
Or just a little. You just see his lips like.
Like McDonald's starts like doing a thing where like they make the things turn into a smile.
Oh my gosh.
Or he's got a little thing of milk, a little milk carton.
Mandalorian crushing a shamrock shake.
Shamrock shake, nice. Nice. All right, so yeah, so after they make quick work of these, there was a lot of Quarrens here, more than there were on the ship, and it took them like 2 seconds, and then they made short work of them. And she says, yeah, let's have a drink at a bar. So we switched to the bar scene. And one of the things I noticed here is Baby Yoda taking notes on how to eat a squid. She's watching the Sasha Banks character, the Kuska Reeves, and she's slurping up the squid, and he's like, that's how that's done. So you've got this little tiny narrative going on in this with all this other stuff going on. You got this tiny. It's kind of like Baby Yoda's learning.
Well, it's like
this.
it's like any kid when they're growing up learning how to eat food that they don't understand.
Yeah, and he's just soaking it all up like a sponge, man. That's one of the things I noticed. And then Bo agrees to tell him that where to find a Jedi. She doesn't say what Jedi or where, but says, but you got to help me with my mission. And then she goes into the whole story apparently of that the purge of Mandalore, where they just stripped a Mandalore of everything. They're using that to buy weapons. The Empire's now Trask is a black market, and they're trying to buy weapons with the money from Mandalore, and now she's trying to intercept those weapons in order to take Mandalore back from the Empire or whatever, or from Gideon anyway, or what's left of the Empire. It sounds like to me. What do you guys think? Am I on the right track? You think, or no?
Sounds about fair.
Okay, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, right on track with that.
Okay.
Talking about how, it reminds me a lot of Rebels.
Yes.
When we're watching that, and the way that they had to go about reclaiming things that they were theirs.
Mm-hmm. Or finding things, or scrapping.
Yeah, exactly.
Things. Yeah.
Now the are they trading for the weapons, or those Mandalorian weapons?
No, I don't think they're Mandalorian weapons. I think what they've done is they're taking the what do we call it when you ransack somewhere and you take the plunder, the loot, whatever you want to call it,
right? Yeah.
From Mandalore, all the riches from Mandalore, and they're
pillage.
Using the pillage.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you. They're taking all that, the monetary value, and they're trading it for weapons, whatever.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah,
So,
I was kind of confused right there, because are they taking weapons from Mandalore and then just kind of hijacking them, or are they trading other things for the weapons?
yeah, I actually had to rewind this one a couple times just because it was worded kind of strange, because it sounded like both were going on.
Yes.
But after I watched it a few times, it sounds like it's just they're taking whatever monetary value and goods, and they're trading them, or the money came from somewhere along the line. It came from Mandalore, and they're using it to purchase weapons for themselves, because they're behind the 8 ball too, because they need weapons.
And
So,
whose ship were they sitting on top of when they were looking out at the other ship?
that was actually, believe it or not, that was the Razor Crest.
The Razor Crest. Yeah,
No,
that
it
was the
wasn't.
Razor Crest.
Yeah, it was. A really beaten up Razor Crest, but it was the Crest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't look beat up at all.
I didn't
when they were sitting on it.
Well, remember they were fixing it.
But
Yeah,
We'll
but when
get
you
to
go to the
that
next
later.
one, when you go to that later,
later.
he's not fixed at all.
I mean,
I don't know.
it could be
It's a zoom in. Like,
it could be a
roof
faux
enough.
pas of on
I guess
their
it
part,
could be,
but
or it could just be they were sitting on a different ship. It looked more together than what
the Crest did.
What the
Crest did,
payoff
because
is.
the Crest had all the moss and stuff hanging from the engines, and even at the end it had the moss still hanging from the engines.
Oh, okay.
But that scene, it
I
didn't.
didn't think about that. Yeah.
I have to go
That's-
back.
that
and
was-
We'll
watch
have to
it.
go back and watch it again now.
Have to.
That was the only reason why I was wondering. I didn't know if it was possibly like the ship that the Mandalorians came in,
Yeah.
or if it was just a ship in the shipyard.
Could've just been a ship,
it looked
too.
like the Crest to me, and I told myself that, and I moved on pretty quick. So
Yeah.
if
thought,
it
like,
was another ship, I
minor
didn't.
ship.
It could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe it was. I don't know.
Hell, it could have been the wreckage of the cradle, and it wouldn't have mattered to me because I was just following the plot.
I also thought it was interesting that Bo, when she's talking to him, is she also says that she wants to put a Mandalorian on the throne. So going back through that history, she's basically ruled the Mandalorians twice, or at least has been the official leader once, and at least led a rebellion against the Empire as the leader twice. So twice she's tried to do this. So it seems like this time she just wants to win the war and then put somebody and be the kingmaker this time. I did notice that, which I thought was kind of interesting from her history and everything that she's done. Because it seems like she's very good at the war part of it. And I think she even says this in the Clone Wars episode, Brian. I don't know if you remember or not. I think it was in the last episode of the Clone Wars ever, where she says, I'm very good at the war part, but I'm not so good at the politics part.
Yeah.
Calling it now. Calling it now. She's gonna die.
Yeah,
Yeah,
remember.
I think it's a
she's
good
gonna die.
possibility, actually, because she's
Yep.
she's about 50. She's in her early 50s. That's the other thing, just from timeline. Because you get
Like I remember something similar to that, but I don't remember the exact
wording.
wording, but it was very similar to the I'm very good at the war part of this, but it's the uniting of the cultures I'm not that great at.
Yeah, so
Yeah, she did real great at uniting with Mando there.
right, he flew off.
Like pissed him off to the point he just flew away.
Screw you! I'm out of here.
This is not the way.
Your way stinks. Bye.
So I did. Here's another little cool part. And you're a ship guy, Brian. Did you notice that she called it an Imperial
freighter?
Granzanati freighter was actually the one from Rebels. Did you notice that? And it was a live. That's the first time we've seen that.
It was very cool.
Yeah.
Like that's the reason why I asked what ship they were on, was because like I'm watching the whole time watching. I'm basically watching the ships.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you're looking for the different stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't blame you. Yeah, I was just like, holy crap, that's it. I was like, I even told, I nudged Gabby, and because we call it breakfast with Mando, we get up in the morning, we watch it. I'm like, hey, that's the ship from Rebels. Okay, Dad. Okay, take it easy. And I'm like,
Calm down.
that's cool. But yeah, I just love how they
very
how they keep doing that. I mean, it's just yet another ship or something else from whether it's from when we were kids, like the troop transport that was
whether it was a toy that was never in the show, or it was or it's something we've seen in the animation.
Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of these are really cool to see them become live action.
Yep.
Nice.
All right, so let's move on to the attack of the freighter. I don't know about you guys, but anytime these Mandos fly into action, it just reminds me of when I was a kid and I used to play with the Boba Fett. And you're just like, holy crap!
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
That's fantastic. Just watch them fly and shit.
Like there's three things that make Star Wars for me, and you know what it is. It's the vehicles,
Yep.
lightsabers,
Yep.
and Mandos.
And Mandos.
that's my like trifecta right there. That'd be a perfect episode.
This show's just got everything for you.
Yeah, the only thing it doesn't have is lightsabers.
Yeah, it's got the dark side.
We had one in the finale there.
And
that
we might get. Well, we'll talk about it later.
Well, we better.
We better.
If she's coming next week, we better get it.
Copy. The other thing I noticed when Bo brings out the knife she's got in her thing, man, she's brutal with that, dude. Did you see her? She's like, right? The stormtrooper's like, nope, they didn't show any blood. I'll give him credit for being a kid show, but damn, I was like, she straight up killer with that thing.
I'm pretty sure they showed more gore on Clone Wars than they did in this episode.
I know, right? But I was just like, damn. I was like, okay. What'd you guys think? Did you notice that?
She shivved him.
Yeah, she did. Big time. And the other thing is the troopers are just still the stormtroopers. And the imps leading them aren't any better.
and it's funny. It's like, they're cannon fodder. They're always the Star Wars cannon fodder. But this is the first time I kind of had a feeling like they actually had a purpose, they actually
maybe
felt more trained a bit, like this was a bit more.
Maybe they're like, we got to give them a little bit of something.
Right. Like it was more interesting.
That last wave of stormtroopers actually, they felt legit.
It did. I did. Did you guys, real quick, did you like we trapped him? We trapped him. We trapped him. Where'd you trap him?
About that.
Close all the doors.
The cargo
Close
control.
Cargo control.
I got him.
She can tell you. I literally face palmed the second I heard it. I was like, really?
The cargo controller.
And where did you trap them?
Where? Open up the cargo.
He was so proud of himself too.
He was. It's like, we got him. In the car. Yeah, not so much.
No,
not really.
Bye.
It's time for your employee evaluation, Ralph.
Yeah, Ralph, right?
Here's your review. You're being blown out of the ship.
You know who the guy was in the cockpit?
No, but I told John
He
I was
looked
like,
familiar
dude,
to me.
that's that
Sounded
guy.
familiar too.
Oh yeah, we don't know like
He
We
always
didn't get a
plays,
name or anything.
No,
I'd
but
have
he
to look
always
him up.
plays a bad guy. Always.
No, I mean I know who the guy. He played on a couple of the Long Order CSI shows.
Yeah, he's like one of the bit players on all the TV shows.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I was
I've seen him
wondering,
before.
Brian, if we knew him from like Rebels or Clone Wars.
I did recognize the voice, he played the perfect part as far as a perfect Imperial officer, commander, if you will. But I would have recognized it, especially if it was like Brom Titus or one of those guys or something, But I did recognize.
Well, he didn't last long enough to leave him an impression. did
Well,
he?
that's true, But when Brian looks at that a little bit, what did you guys think about him taking objection to her taking the ship? He's like, that's not part of the deal. I didn't sign up for that. I don't want to take the ship. Seems like he doesn't want to take. Do you think it was him not wanting to take the heat for stealing an entire ship, or was it more that's too risky?
I think maybe because he did tell her, he's like, I didn't sign up for this. I got to get back to the kid.
Mm.
And I think her thought was, well, we'll all just leave together.
Mm.
And he's like, no, I have to.
I have a
mission myself.
responsibility,
Yeah,
yeah.
I have a responsibility.
Yeah, I have a different responsibility.
Yeah, so I think maybe it wasn't so much that he didn't like what she was doing. I think the fact was he didn't sign up for that truly because he had the kid to worry about.
right.
And the one thing I will say is like, just with Star Wars deals, or like anytime you make a deal in Star Wars, it's always going to get altered.
Oh, it's
that's
always-
just that's how it always happens. You
I
make a
will
deal,
agree.
the deal always gets altered.
Right,
Yeah,
but
and-
see,
I mean,
the
that was-
Mandalorian never
was-
had that. Every deal the Mandalorian's ever done
That's true. Yeah,
has
it
been a
always-
deal. The deal was held through. And
Yeah.
That's the way it works. And now he's learning that the real world is everything changes.
Everything changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now that he doesn't have a guild to protect him and he's out on his own,
Oh yeah, I mean,
the union actually came through.
So Sasha Banks' real name is Mercedes Vernado.
Mercedes
okay.
or not? Okay, cool.
Cool.
Let's see who else we
Did you
got on
find
here.
anything else?
Simon Casadianis played Axe Wolves. That was the guy
was the
opposite
other-
Sasha Banks.
The third.
That was
the
the other-
third.
that was the
Oh,
other
okay,
movie.
so that's the other Mandalorian. Okay.
He's from Agents of Shield.
Sure.
And Tom Welliver from Lost
Yeah,
was the captain.
because he was
Okay.
Jacob.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, not
okay,
Jacob. He
no.
was the-
He was someone.
He was the
There's
opposite.
so many damn people on that show.
He was the bad versus Jacob's good.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he
that's
al-
right. No,
Yeah.
And he also plays in the new series Bosch.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
haven't seen that yet. No idea. I'll tell you the other thing about this whole scene that I took note of was the Empire. The Empire, when they called for backup,
Yeah.
and because I'm used to an Empire that has limitless resources, that's huge, that's bad, that is overwhelming, and people were always trying to walk around them to not to take them on fully. And here we see Moff Gideon go, well, how far have they gotten? Well, they've taken everything but the cockpit. Well, you know what that means. You're not getting any backup. Make it a suicide mission.
What's that thing he says to him right before the channel goes off about the Empire, or long live the
Long
Empires?
live the Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where they're at.
Yeah.
It's like literally an empire that's reforming after being.
Yeah.
It's basically England after the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, they're back on their heels quite a bit actually, and they are in the black market for weapons. So that tells you, I mean, the Empire, which used to have Death Stars and countless Star Destroyers and Super Star Destroyers and countless numbers of troopers, are now much smaller and that much are no longer the giant empire.
You know,
that once were.
after like 2 Death Stars blow up, you got to think that they've maxed out their credit.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Can't
like,
get
yeah,
anything.
you know,
Come
you
back
don't
in 7 years. We'll talk.
You don't exactly have any assets right now, Mr. Moff, and you have nothing you can put up as collateral. I'm sorry, we can't approve this loan.
That black saber.
I don't think he's parting with that. That's not collateral.
You got an ATM on that thing? No.
On that torso
No
light bright of yours.
Smash. I love that. Brian, what did you think about that? About the Empire? Did take you back? That make you think a little bit?
Well, I mean, it definitely felt like it gives us a perspective on where they're at. Whether they would rather, instead of losing more Imperial lives,
Yeah.
they're willing to give up the whatever little bit they have left, as long as the good guy doesn't have.
What they have.
Yeah.
Right. And then I actually put this in the notes in the wrong spot, but let's talk about Mando's bravery in that whole scene when the ship's going down. Like, he takes the ship down.
Or when he's going to the bridge.
The bridge. Yeah, and there's that last group like Brian was talking about earlier, and he just basically takes two grenades.
I
He got his two grenades
in his hands, activates them, and just runs at them.
He basically uses his armor as the shield and just gets just pelted with all the
constantly
stormtrooper fire, and you can tell he's like actually like getting hurt from it too. So
and he's being brought back, and he just finally
until he gets to the spot you can like get the good
the good throw.
It's like the thing in Platoon where the guys
you still haven't seen that.
No, but
you don't know what
I'm talking about.
You're talking about
it's
the
a
famous
different scene. No, that is completely not the scene.
I know
it's more like
what scene she's talking about,
but it's more like the torch guy from the Two Towers running into Helm's Deep.
Yeah, it's a moment of valor.
Yeah.
It's not just bravery, but it's valor, right? It's a valor moment. It's here I go. I'm going to throw myself in harm's way,
Right.
and whatever may be.
Which I thought was pretty cool because here's 3 Mandos that he was ready to write off, and now he's
risking his
basically risking his life and saying, "Okay, I'm going to help you."
Yes, and it pays off with Bo later because they're about to depart. He said, "Your bravery will be remembered," and basically keeps the invitation. You can come back and join us anytime you want,
Right.
because of
which excited me because it's like, oh, this world's just going to get a lot larger. These
yeah, exactly.
It's exciting about like that.
It's gonna be great, man. Especially if they go to Mandalore and stuff. Oh my god, I'm gonna lose my mind. But
You haven't already?
well,
no, not yet.
the thing to me, and I'm wearing a Game of Thrones mashup with Star Wars. The Mandalorians are kind of like Game of Thrones in Star Wars land. They have houses. They have
The Watch.
Yeah, literally, right?
That's what I was-
Great tie-in. But yeah, I mean, they're so just as if we see live action that, I'm gonna yes, please. I would love to see that. So
Not the Game of Thrones and the Star Wars mashup.
yes,
They've always said that Star Wars is more closely related to fantasy anyway, so why not?
why not?
Bring on the dragons.
You know what?
Dragons versus squales.
It's not. Fuck you.
But the dragons might win though.
That'd be awesome. Eat the motherfuckers, please.
I made your night.
Fantastic.
I made your night.
Yes.
Eat the squales.
Eat those damn squales, the Purgill. Eat them up. Eat them, fry them up.
Brian will be chanting Dracarys.
I can
Dracarys.
see
Like,
I can see that.
eat all the squales, and then when you're done, you can wash your mouth out with some back.
There it is. Call back to last season. You have to go back and watch our last season to understand that reference. And back to Quinn.
Yeah.
Thank you, Egg. Thank you.
Yep.
Oh my
I'm
god.
not coming next week.
No, you'll have to clinical.
Yeah, I'll be at clinical.
And back to Quinn. All right. So, and then the other part of this whole scene, which is Bo wants to know, does he have it? And he wants to know, does he have the dark saber? Obviously talking about Moff Gideon.
If you're asking, you know the answer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a cool answer.
That
Yeah,
was
a
pretty
badass
cool
answer.
because it made me wonder. It's like, so Moff may not actually be a Jedi. He may just have it
Right.
to have it, to have his symbol of power.
Yes.
Oh,
and-
my guess is he's just like Thrawn,
yeah,
Sure.
He could
and
be.
he just collects
Well,
items from civilizations and stuff.
right, well, and remember, he even when Mando finds out it's Moff Gideon and he figures it out, he goes, "Yeah, he was an ISB agent." And who was an ISB agent? Going back to Rebels, but Callus, right? So we know what that is. It's like the secret police of the Empire, kind of thing.
For those of us who don't know what you're talking about, what?
So the Empire had a secret police unit
Okay.
called the ISB, and they were brought in to take down rebel cells, and they would be like
Like the
internal
SS.
investigate. Yes, very much the
SS.
SS. And they had a character called Callus. He eventually turned, but that's another story. But So the Empire had this whole separate unit that just went around and messed with people's lives, and yeah, just was total assholes. And
Okay.
Yeah, they followed the Imperial way, but they didn't have to follow the laws.
Oh,
right.
okay.
They could do whatever they want.
It was
Act with
kind of like
impunity.
the Black Shield from Star Trek.
Yes, the control or whatever. The heck, well, yeah. Well, not control, but yeah.
The secret committee.
Section something.
Section.
Yeah.
Or
Black
if you want to
section,
get
really.
like completely film nerdy, it's basically like the group in Munich.
Yes, very much so. Yes, you can go back to the Nazis. Yeah. All right, so moving on. So my turn to go all Star Wars history real quick, and this will be very quick. So
Part 2.
So part 2, and spoiler alert too for those who may not want to know, but just to give you a backstory, why is the Darksaber so important? The reason why it was so important is it was built by the first Mando ever to be accepted into the Jedi Order. His name was Tar Vizsla. After his death, the saber was kept in the Jedi Temple until was stolen by some Mandalorians who took it and used it as a status symbol to unite and rule Mandalore. So there's the backstory on that. So not only is it cool looking, but it's actually a status symbol that all the houses recognize, and if you wield it and you're able to keep it, it's a unifying factor to all the houses and
It's the
and
one
clans. Ring. Yes,
it's the One Ring.
very much so. But it's a symbol of
even
power.
if you're Darth Maul.
Yeah, even if you're Darth Maul, because Darth Maul had it for a while. Yeah, and I can go into that, but I won't. I'll leave
No,
that
it's
for
interesting because again, like I said,
Yeah.
knowing that the person who has it probably shouldn't have it, and the fact that it's such a status symbol like that, and the fact that we have an episode titled "The Heiress" and somebody who
Yes.
should
Right.
be on the throne.
Yep.
You get the feeling it's building up to some really big dynasty level shit.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
very much.
You
so.
know, so I was like, "This."
Who killed JR?
The Targaryens.
Who shot Baby Yoda?
House Red. What? Yeah. So it's gonna be some cool stuff. For sure. Or clan. Anyway. What was I gonna say?
We're gonna get a battle over a throne in a series finale that we long deserved since the last time.
Okay, much
We're
better.
finally gonna
Much
get.
more
We're gonna get the Game of Thrones ending we wanted. In
Oh my
Mandalorian.
God.
Yes. Vindication.
Yes. Amen.
The second you hear a squeal.
It's getting ugly in here. Power.
Damn.
It's getting
squirrels.
ugly.
Motherfuckers. Yeah, we're gonna take one of the greatest animation series of all times, and what takes down the fucking empire but a bunch of whales in space?
Yes,
Motherfuckers.
Squales.
Yeah, assholes.
That would be awesome though if like Mandalorian like it's the end of the season and
They
like
have a squale. Yes.
yes like
No, no
you see
riding
him-
of squales.
You see
no.
him come out. You see him
No.
come out of space.
No.
He comes out of hyperdrive.
And
No.
Right, he stops.
Mando's holding
And then he
Mando's
looks
riding
over
a
and-
squale like in
riding a
Dune.
squale.
Yeah,
Like a
the
sandworm
squale almost
from
in front of
Dune.
the.
All right. Fuck you, Brian. Fuck you. Fuck you. And no. No more. I've had my piece. I've said everybody understands how much I hate squales.
Oh, maybe a little Yoda can ride him.
No, that's just fucking sacrilege. Get off the stage. I'm kicking you off the stage. And that's it. Go.
Go back to the coming to New York.
Yeah.
Go back to you crazy people.
I'm pretty sure the patients will see the squales too.
Yeah, I'm sure they are, actually. Look, squirrels. Oh. Yeah, right. What are you doing? Catching squirrels.
I'll bet.
Okay.
My
You
God.
son of a bitch. You just had to put it in there. That's the actual sound effect of a squale. AKA Purgill for all you Star Wars nuts out there. We call them squales because they're half whale, half squid. I don't know why I keep rambling on, because all I'm doing is fueling these guys, but I hate them.
It's so great.
It's funny because you're the one that brings it up.
Yeah.
It's
No.
you know
Well,
what?
you guys bring it up. I'm the only one that realizes.
John's the one that brings it up.
Yeah.
I just like saying squale.
He just wants to see me get pissed off, is what it is.
Well, it's like if you guys bring up a terrible movie around me. You've seen me go off on shit films before.
Yeah, fuck you, Brian. Yeah.
Hell, I mean, didn't we have we had our Batman v Superman review? you guys have heard me when I go off on a rant.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, so let's get to the most important. Let's stop talking about fucking squales, and let's talk about the most important part of the show, which was, to me, was Bo finally tells Mando where to find Ahsoka Tano. So all the rumors, all the bullshit, and everybody talking about it, it's finally true. It's finally going to happen. It's going to happen most likely in the next episode. So Ahsoka Tano is the Jedi in which Bo tells him to go find, and it's on some forest moon or something.
Right.
It wasn't.
It's
Endor,
not Endor, but
it was
it's
some
a
other-
different forest moon.
Yeah. So
Who's Ahsoka Tano?
I was going to save that for the next episode for my
Oh.
big Star Wars
We'll
thing.
save that.
Got it.
But
We'll
if
save
you
it.
want, the very short story is Ahsoka Tano is the Anakin Skywalker's Padawan.
Got it.
Oh, that's right. We talked about it last week.
Yeah. So, or she was Anakin Skywalker's Padawan.
Got it.
That's how she starts off. But then becomes a huge character in Star Wars.
Okay.
And Brian's blinking.
Brian's glitching.
I think we lost Brian.
Oh no!
Are you back? No. B.
Hank.
Hank, you still with us?
Frozen.
You there?
Hank. Come
Technical
back.
difficulties.
I think we lost him.
Oh
Come
no!
back.
Come on back, B.
Well, show must go on.
The show must go on. Hopefully, B will recontact
We'll
us
be
here.
back.
What's up, dude?
So we'll just leave B frozen.
You're in carbonite now, Hank.
Yeah, we froze him in carbonite.
You're in the internet carbonite.
He's got to do this though. He's got. So anyway, but that leaves. And then so Ahsoka Tano is finally coming, which is a huge deal. It's the first time she'll be in live action. Supposedly, rumor is it's Rosario Dawson who gets to play her.
Oh, yes, I heard about that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because Ahsoka's been around so long since the Clone Wars time-wise, it would have to be somebody a little. Not to say Rosario's not older, but she is a little bit older.
Yeah, she is.
And it'd be about. They could definitely make it.
Hell, Clerks
look
2
good.
was like, what, 14 years ago?
Yeah, every bit. Yeah, that's when she started. That's where she made her start, right? Wasn't it?
A little bit before that, but that's the
was,
first time I remember. Like, she was in Sin City the year before, and
Oh, there goes Brian.
we're having our Skype.
Skype just went. It's a Skype problem.
Skype just gave up.
I said no.
We'll see if he calls. I'll try calling him back.
Yeah.
Anyway, you'll hear that in the background, I guess. There he is. Maybe. B, you back?
Yeah,
with us?
you kicked me.
I didn't know we froze you in carbonite. You got to do
Yeah,
this.
internet
Put your
carbonite.
hands up, go.
Oh, all I got was Brian's like, and now we'll get to the really important part.
Like,
And now for something completely different.
And I go, hello.
All right, so B, we were talking
Monty
about.
Python joke for you young kids out there.
We're talking about Ahsoka Tano, obviously, and how all the rumors and all the craziness going around that she was, she wasn't, she maybe, she's not. Sounds like Rosario Dawson is definitely playing her. What do you think about all that?
I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see her break that wall of the whole animated becomes reality.
Yeah.
Just to see how they do it. Now I hope it doesn't look like crap.
yeah, I'm more worried about that. I'm worried about Rosario's voice a little bit too because we're so used to what's her
I'm not
name?
too worried about it. I think it'll be okay as long as she looks the part.
Right, exactly. Okay,
we're gonna have to after we're done watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, we're gonna have to go back and watch
We'll
all
see.
these.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll get to my
You-
rationale here in a minute.
basically she starts off as Skywalker's Padawan and things happen and she survives Order 66 and she goes on to help the rebels and Star Wars rebels and then she faces Vader and things happen from there and I won't give anything else away.
Thank you.
But
Cool.
Okay.
so but anyway, really cool stuff. Some deep mythical Star Wars shit
Okay.
happens. Anyway, so yeah. So but yeah. So Ahsoka Tano is finally coming to live action, and I can't wait till next week. So that's gonna be some cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, a couple other side notes at the end of this episode. Baby Yoda learns the value of life in the eggs and also how to eat a squid.
Well, because like, what is it? When we get the Razor Crest back, like the guy put it back together with like fishnets and not like stockings, but like fucking like ropes and like just
pieces
it looked worse than they
I thought it
landed
was
it.
fantastic. I thought it was great when he was like, coming back and he's like, I gave you 1,000 credits. And he's like, eh. But yeah, going back to learns to value life, because with the eggs and stuff like that, it was so cool because he sees the birth.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because like when he first gets dropped off there,
Right.
like he goes to the container and sees one of the eggs hatch.
Yeah.
And then he's sitting there in the bowl looking at it, and it's looking back at him, and it's kind of a nice little moment.
It clicks. And I think this is...
I kind of wondered if he was about to eat him though, too.
Well, of course that goes through your head, but to me, he doesn't. Obviously, at the end, he's nurturing it, right? Or
Oh no, I was sitting there going, please don't eat that.
That's
Please
exactly
don't
what
eat
I thought
that."
too.
me, I was just kind of like, to me, it was just there was so much crap this week on the cancel Baby Yoda. He doesn't respect life.
I think that was
and
just
I'm
like
come
one
on,
Vanity
man.
Fair article that said
Yeah.
referred to as canceled, because I don't think
just think
the
it's stupid.
internet can't cancel their baby this early.
I think it's just retarded.
But here's the thing, like all of us collectively last week when we talked about it, we talked about like the stakes and everything they put up with. It's like you can't have an episode like last week's give the stakes of the eggs as much as they gave it and then try to use it as a punchline.
It's a punchline. I
It was
agree.
bad writing.
I
It was a
agree.
badly done job.
I just thought they took it to the next level. As I kept reading, it wasn't just Vanity. It was like all over Twitter. I'm like, come on, people, just stop.
I think they got upset when they tried to make it a toy. And it was a stupid idea for a toy. It's like
I agree. It is a dumb
moments.
idea for a toy. It just kind of, I don't know. I thought people were losing their minds for no reason.
Hell, I mean, if you're gonna give us a Funko Pop, why don't you give us one with the egg that like you can have them press the button and like just close the lid? There's your Funko Pop. I mean, Funko, come on, what are you doing, guys?
I don't know.
Of all the moments,
I can't stand it. I can't stand cancel culture though, so that's me. All right, so but yes, the end of it though. Get back to Stephanie. I love the. I love how even the cockpit is just full of netting and rope everywhere. Just holding shit is being held together by rope. And
I mean, duct tape.
Duct tape.
was great.
Duct tape was the only thing missing.
Duct tape would,
I swear it looked like the Star Wars equivalent of duct tape.
It pretty much was. I was like, oh
It was
my God.
actually it was squale tape.
Squirrel tape.
Fuck you.
It wasn't me this time.
Squirrel piss is the glue holding it together.
It probably is squale semen. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
It's the only thing that can actually hold together in hyperspace.
The strongest thing in the galaxy, don't you know? Squale sperm is fantastic.
It's why space tastes so salty.
No.
Oh man, he went there, not me. Just so you know.
That's why you all tune in.
No, I did. I went first.
You married him. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, all right. Well, let's get into.
Tastes sweeter with space pineapples.
Oh.
All right, so let's just go to final thoughts and grades because we're done here. John, Steph,
Can't top this.
what do you guys go?
I'll let you go. It's like your letter grade and all that. I'll let you go first.
Oh. I really don't know what to give it because I didn't know some of the people involved because again we have never seen Rebels or Clone Wars. So I mean, to be fair, probably an A because I thought the story was good. I thought the way they made Baby Yoda realize that it wasn't just food, it was life, was probably a good story there too.
Okay.
And how, Mando realizes there's other people out there and not just him and the faction that he was with. So to me, probably an A.
Okay. Brian, you started low and you're going to work your way high. So let's just, what you got?
Well, mine was a plus this week, man.
All right, that a boy. Okay.
It had the new aircraft and stuff in it. It had a different kind of world. It had brought us some new different type of creatures, and it had Mandalorians in it.
And we talked about the lightsabers too.
Yeah, I mean it was a good It was a good overall episode. It was action packed from start to finish. It didn't feel.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, we're losing you.
No.
Come on,
We're
B.
losing you.
Use the force, B. Let
Use
go.
the force. Come on. Stay with us. Nope.
No.
No, come on. Nope.
Hold on, I'll call you right back. Hold
We'll
on.
call you back.
Stupid Skype.
We gotta get
He
his
was
final
so
thoughts
close.
in real quick.
He was
yeah.
so close.
Gotta be quicker, man.
This is what happens when you use Skype, people.
So we're gonna get a Facebook chat room here next time.
Ridiculous.
I'm telling you.
Can't work under these conditions.
The internet said you took too long.
All right, you were saying
I don't even know what I was saying.
You can
Gave it a
start
fucking
over.
A+.
A+. All right.
Yeah. Gave it an A+ because it had
Alright,
Mandos, it had
John.
the ships, had everything.
Copy that.
Amen.
I'll go ahead and go next. For me, this is a great payoff. You got Bo-Katan in live action for the first time. So much Star Wars history, so much connection between her character in Din, the Mandalorian. Lots of different bits and pieces that are all coming together. So many different avenues places it can go because of it, because of the rich history. Great payoff for us that are loyal Star Wars fans. And Brian's changing his background, but just all kinds of awesome stuff that just really happened in this episode. I could go on and on. I could talk hours. I could go to the Mad Star Wars board and talk hours about all the different possibilities of things that can happen. But I'm going to give it an A+ as well, Johnny.
And I'm going to give it an A because here's the thing. Coming from a place where you haven't seen Rebels or Clone Wars or anything like that, it puts me in a position in a place where I have to review it based on purely the storytelling alone. And I think I like that part because, if I didn't know so much of this universe and everything, and all I have to go on is how well they tell the story, and that's what they are doing so well. And that's kind of why I think I'm becoming a bit more hesitant to go back until the series is over, because it's, for an outsider like me, it lets me know anyone can go in and watch this. You don't have to watch I don't know how many seasons.
Super fan.
Yeah, you don't, because you can tell the writing is there. Everything is just, it's solid. It's good storytelling. And the other thing was, like, when I looked to see how long this episode was, the timeout, when we had to watch it before we came over.
Yep.
This episode was shorter than last week's.
Yes.
And it had so much world building, so much mythology, so many new characters, so many new possibilities. And again, like what Ankenbauer was talking about with the themes of, what did you previously believe in and now how that's being turned on its ear, it's got another great theme that it's developing with this season 2. And I'm like, it's great writing. This is really good writing. So yeah, I'm on board. This was an A. This was a definite step up from last week. The humor had so much more of a payoff this time around.
It did.
And
It hit on all cylinders.
and it was exciting. It was dramatic. This is everything that a geek culture could want in a sci-fi fantasy universe.
Let me ask you real quick. Just what do you think about the directing? Because this was whatchamacallit's daughter.
Bryce Dallas
again.
Howard.
Bryce Dallas.
Yeah, because she did an episode last season too, if I'm not
She
mistaken.
did episode 4, which was the big.
Which was another one of my favorites
Right,
too.
yeah.
So, Bryce, I like her as an actress. She's in some consistently really bad movies. I hated The Village. I hated Lady in the Water. Jurassic World, but goddamn, she's learned from her dad on how to direct.
I think so. I didn't even think it. When I watched this episode. I was waiting for the director. I was like, God, that's just, I didn't even think it was her. That's how
But again, that was her episode. I was enjoying season 1, but the second we got to her episode and there were so many ties to Seven Samurai, that was the one that sold the show for me. So she's I think she can branch out. I think she's got the chops to do a lot more directing. I'd like to see her direct some more. So yeah.
Cool. Very cool. Very, very, very cool. All right. And where can you find us if you like this podcast? And the best place to go to find us is www.4midwestguys.com. There you can find links to our Facebook, to our Twitter, to our YouTube, to just about everything. You can follow, like, and subscribe from there. Or you can go, if you just want Facebook, you go facebook.com/4 Midwest Guys. It's Twitter @4 Midwest Guys. Mr. Ankenbauer, where can they find you?
At Ankzone.
And that's at Twitter and Stardust. For me, at Twitter and Stardust at bwilly1977. You like the behind-the-scenes photos and the crazy stuff that happens behind the scenes, that's our Instagram account. That's the _4 Midwest Guys or the _4 Midwest _guys. And then there's good old-fashioned email. It's the _4 Midwest Guys at gmail.com. Or our newest thing is the fan voicemail line, which is 1-859-363-5952. And you'll hear my voice as soon as you call it. Just tell us what show you are leaving a voicemail for, who you are and where you're from. And if we like it a lot, you'll find yourself on the air in the next show. So definitely a good way to reach out to us. And
one other thing to reach out for,
What
too,
about
that we were
movies?
kind of discussing.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
so
Johnny, please.
So,
I'll put back up the social media while you talk.
So, just something we were throwing out there, and I've done a couple episodes of this, and I had a lot of fun, and, with the COVID thing and everything going on, it might be time for me to get back into a little movie masochism.
Oh, no,
so,
he's back. He wants to torture himself, folks.
you know what, guys? I have seen a lot of crappy films. I enjoy ranting about crappy films, as you all like to.
You enjoy
If
making
you
your
want to
wife
see,
watch crappy films.
I know. Don't you love riff tracks, honey?
So much fun.
But yeah, if you want to see me get as, crazy insane as Brink does here whenever we bring up Squales,
Yeah, very much
give
so.
me a crappy movie and I will happily come on the show again and start giving another movie masochism. I was even starting to consider the Neil Breen filmography.
Oh.
Just don't do Manos. Don't do Manos.
Oh no, sorry, that's been done to death. That's all that.
What about rom-coms?
Why?
Can I vote one?
Oh, what's that one? What's that Paris one? That one's really bad.
No. 27 Dresses.
Never seen it. Never want to. Yeah, that sounds bad.
Oh, that was a good one.
You right?
All Catherine. All Heighel's movies are great.
I know, right? She's so cool.
You see that right there? You get this priceless reaction when I have to suffer through
So
crap
again,
like
if you want to
this.
see this priceless reaction, you want to dial 1-859-363-5952. That's 1-859-363-5952 to see this reaction.
Give me
on
your
this
worst.
face. He's
Give me
asking
your worst.
for it.
Come on.
He wants
What do you
it.
got for me?
Give him a punch in the face, folks. All right.
Or punch this smug little face. Come on.
All right. Well, Brian, sorry about the difficulties, but thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. Johnny, thanks for joining us.
That was a pleasure.
And Stephanie, nice to have you back.
Yay!
Welcome back.
Thanks, guys.
Send her back to. She's going back to school next week.
Go back to
And
school.
I'm going back to school.
Or
so.
she's going back to Quinn. Hey!
Hey, call back.
Wow.
Huh.
All right. And this is B. Willie
I
saying.
love them. That's why I take the torture.
And she does take a lot of shit from us, too. All right. So this is B. Willie. I've been your host, B. Willie, saying, may the force be with you always.